Okay, welcome to another late night recording of this month on the channel for this channel, my channel, because work is kicking my ass this week, and the only free time I can find to record it is now. Around everything else, let's quickly go over what we've done on the channel this month. Most of what we've done over this month. We played and finished first Sable, which in premise should have been right up my alley. I'm starting negative. Starting negative at the beginning of the video. But we finished. We wrapped up Sable, probably shorter than I originally imagined me taking to play it, because I ended up, because of technical difficulties during the actual gameplay, I ended up not wanting to spend more time. I delved into it a lot during the actual playthrough, so if you want to see why exactly, overall, kind of a bummer. Given different circumstances, I would have loved to melt into that game and played it longer, but I at least saw it to its end. So there was at least that. I believe we also finished, I think it was this month, unless my timeline's all screwy at this point, but we actually finished up and wrapped up Nier Automata, saw the best ending, the final endings, all the things. Did some work on that game off stream so that we could easily and palatably watch the ending of Nier Automata and see everything we needed to see. That was a fun experience. I will say, I said it again during the series, and I think I hold true after even beating it. I think I hold Nier Replicant, my playthrough of Nier Replicant, and my time with Nier Replicant higher than Nier Automata, which is crazy because I feel like going into Nier Automata, everyone says how great Nier Automata is, and I don't think it's bad. I just think Nier Replicant meshed with me on so many different levels more than Nier Automata. But not a bad game. We got around to Deltarune's Chapter 5. I think that came out last month, but I only ended up getting around to it a couple weeks into this month. I genuinely enjoyed it. I was kind of felt like I'm crazy for seeing, once I finished it, I go online, I check what other people think of the chapter. I thought I was crazy reading a lot of the criticism I saw of Chapter 5. It's about exactly what I expected. I had a fun time with it. I don't expect the world. I go into a Deltarune chapter, a new chapter releases, I'm like, I know what to expect. I kind of know the story. I don't hinge my whole life on what does or doesn't happen or show up or what gets developed. Like, I think that's probably why I enjoyed it, and maybe some other people didn't like it. Whatever. I had a great time. I thought it was a fun chapter. Can't wait for Chapter 6 next year or whatever. I don't get all the hate. Why are the Birdly fans so demanding that Birdly gets more screen time? I don't fucking know. A couple of one-offs we got to. I mentioned that I wanted to do a couple one-offs in the last TMOTC. Those actually came to fruition. I held to it. The first one was, I believe it is officially called Hinamizawa Branch School Basketball Tournament, aka Higurashi Basketball, the fan-made game from years and years ago. I found a copy of it. As you can probably see during the gameplay snippet that I probably put in these videos, janky as hell. It's not polished, obviously, but for checking out like a fan-made game, it's kind of impressive, despite like the AI just being brutally hard. It's obviously not like built well together, but it was quite the experience. And like I said, everything goes back to the Higurashi now on this channel for the last few years, so it was fine. It was fun because I wanted to check that out a long time ago, and for different reasons I didn't find the time or couldn't find like a copy of this game floating around online, and I finally put work into finding it and getting it to run and stuff. So yeah, Hinamizawa Branch School Basketball Tournament, and I ended up winning a game. Not to spoil the whole one-off video, but it was a fun time, so I'm glad I did that. The other one-off video I did was for a small game I had seen called Lavenders, and I think maybe the subtitle is the One-Stop Potion Shop. Unclear on that. But just an hour and a half game time I spent with it. I think I saw most of what is in there. I don't want to spoil too much about it. It's got some, I don't even want to say creepy. It has some weird vibes, things going on. And it's got a tight little story. And I was glad I checked it out because it definitely fits the mold of like those one-off little experiences I used to. I feel like check out a lot more, and that I want to get back into kind of doing. So yeah, really liked that Lavender's, the one-stop potion shop. Just a cozy, relatively cozy game where you're just making potions for people that ask for potions. They want potions for different things. You do it for them. I don't want to say much more than that. That tab is Deltarune as well, so I clicked that twice. My bad. We Oh, we started. I had not mentioned this game at all, so this is like one of those like few like complete surprises that I ultimately pulled the trigger on, and we're still currently playing as of this moment. Dench Attack, a game that came out this past month, and I am very thoroughly enjoying it. It's one of those games where I don't know how fun it would be to watch someone else play it. Um, but I guess you could say that about a lot of games, probably. But very cool. I get a lot of, not obviously gameplay wise, but I get a lot of like what the game is doing and what the game is punching up to, and like just like again colorful vibes, music heavily related. I get a lot of vibes of like the same feelings I felt during like moments in Hi-Fi Rush. But Dench Attack, obviously gameplay wise, completely different. Your train on a tracks. It's very much like think the mission based structure and objective structure of like a Tony Hawk's game, but then you're kind of like running around platforming on tracks, Sonic-esque, but maybe that's not the right kind of placement. But it's very fun. It's got a lighthearted story that's actually kind of cool. The music soundtrack is great. I'm having a great time with it. Like I said, I'm probably just plowing through the story at this rate, and probably will go for like cleanup of like 100% like off stream. I'm seriously debating it because it is just kind of fun to kind of like tackle those objectives. So we'll see about that. But yeah, very much like Dench Attack. Having a lot of fun with that. And then finally, I did another thing I mentioned in the last TMOTC and then stuck with in this month is that we did spin the wheel backlog. I think it was our 9th spin of the wheel. And we landed on a game called Mutazione. Mutazione? I believe that's how you'd say it. Unsure, unclear, don't care to check. I believe that game, this is one of those games that's been on like my backlog, like in my mental backlog for the longest of times. I think it was probably one of the first, on the first iteration of the wheel and has landed, and finally we got it. I think it's probably going to wrap up sometime in the next few days. I think it's just one more stream probably to finish it. Very interesting. It gives me, when I first started playing it, like, because it's like 2D presentation, not necessarily 2D, but the way it's presented and talking and like a lot of character driven kind of like story moments, it reminded me a lot of like my time with like Oxenfree back in the day. It's very much like you could blast through it super fastly, but if you want to go ahead and talk to all of these people on this radiated like island, and it's basically, and very surprisingly, very drama filled. If you're like a person that likes to get into a story and then like this fictional village and all these characters that you're gonna have like favorites of, and you're gonna be like, oh fuck that person, or I like this character, and then you like, if you just talk to them, these characters will just give you their drama. And like I said, we did our second stream just a couple days ago, and it took like, there was like a drama. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it obviously, but there was a drama moment in it that I was like, oh, I'm surprised the game is going like this type thing. And yeah, I don't think it's gonna overstay its welcome, so I think it's like just gonna end up wrapping up at like a good playtime. Interesting characters, interesting little islandy world. At first I was kind of like confused. I was like, what's going on? I think I understand most of it now, and the relationships between all the characters, because it is a small island and these characters all have like these interconnecting relationships, that it creates interesting dynamics as you as an outsider get into this village and learn what's going on. And there's like a overarching, apart from all the drama things that you can kind of optionally straddle around and learn about, there's an overall arching mystery that I'm excited to see the finale to. and see how it wraps up. I'm curious how it sticks the landing. So yeah, definitely one of those games that I've had sitting around forever and probably would never get around to unless a wheel of RNG randomly forced me to play it. So that's what the wheel is for. As far as this upcoming next month of August, something I feel like I've been talking about and mentioning directly and indirectly for like the last like 17 months is that for August, I will be gone what seems or feels like it's going to be like half the month, but all things considered, it's going to be like a week and a couple days or something. But that's might as well in my head. It's like half a month. So not only are the actual live streams going to be slightly less numerous, but also the amount of time that I have available to then in this part of this video talk about like exciting future things. You know, I don't have a ton that I can actually give. We're going to spend a lot of the beginning part of August finishing up games that we started. So Mutazione, like I said, Dench Attack. We're actually going to plug away. Before the trip, I really hope to finish Fata Morgana. Someone told me that they believe that I totally will be able to. I mentioned it in last night's, as of this recording's, Fata Morgana stream, that if it gets like we're getting close to the cutoff, or, you know, that cutoff, mental fate cutoff, and we're not getting close, I'm willing to do like a weekend Fata Morgana stream where I just read for several hours on like a Saturday or Sunday. That wouldn't be too hard and maybe would be fun. But just getting out of the original like Tuesday and Friday structure we've kind of got going. I do believe the version I have also has like a prologue or an epilogue or a side story stuff too. I'm going to try to look into exactly how voluminous that extra stuff is. I want to read it, but if that has to wait until like after the trip or whatever, I'm not going to feel too bad. I've kind of mentioned this in passing. I'll probably confirm it just now in this video, just to give something. After Fata Morgana's all done, the next game that's going to like occupy that visual novel-esque space on this channel is going to be the 100-line Last Defense Academy, which is going to be a massive project. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's a game that's like, oh, it has 100 different endings, and you play it for close to 100 hours, and you're like, you just get one ending, and something like that. That's things I've heard or something. That's going to be a massive project, and I know it's not necessarily like exactly a visual novel, but I group it in that visual novel like experience. There's a lot of reading. I'm going to be having to do a lot of reading, so I'm very excited for that. I mentioned that game last year because it came out last year and I wasn't able to get around to it, and I was like, that's probably would have been like, could possibly be my favorite game of 2025 if I got around to playing it in 2025, just knowing what it is, and you know, I'm a sucker for that type of shit. So yeah, that's a heads up for what's coming down the pipeline once Fata Morgana is done. I don't want to even think about it or start doing it really until Fata Morgana is completely done. But yeah, on the off chance you're like debating if you've got a copy of like 100 Line, but you want to watch me play it as well, this is like your head start warning, like, oh, you got to start it. Obviously, if you start it now, you're going to be, the way I slowly play games, you'll definitely pass me, and that's the point. Then you can watch me do it, and I'll slowly get through. But just slight heads up, if you're one of those types of people that want to see me play it, but also want to experience it yourself separately ahead of me, which I always recommend. The other thing I'll give is, and I don't know, it all just depends on timing and when we wrap up other stuff. Like I said, I'm still going to be hitting Xenoblade hard over August and everything, but really finishing Mutazione, Dench Attack, Fata Morgana. I don't know if I'm going to hold off until I come back, so like late August, or if we are just going to start it like midway through August or something. But now that I've finished Metal Gears 1 and 2, much to my friend's pleasure, not dismay, I almost said dismay, I am going to tackle the Metal Gear Solid series. It's just a matter of, am I going to be starting a bit into August or when I come back from my trip, basically in August. And we'll go through the whole series. I know Volume 2 of the remaster of, you know, the remastered thing's coming out sometime this year, but at least what I have now currently is going to be Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 3. And then 4, what is it? 4, Peace Walker, 5, Ground Zeroes. I think that's Revengeance. I could be convinced to do Revengeance. Probably. I think someone told me. I think a friend told me that I should play Revengeance. So, like, stuff like that. Yeah, the Metal Gear Solid series is happening. Very, you know, I wanted to do Metal Gears 1 and 2 prior to actually doing that. And, yeah, so that series will start. And that's also going to be another big thing. So imagine, like, even a month from now, it's going to be like on the channel, the big pillars are going to be like probably still Xenoblade Saga or Xenoblade Chronicles, because that's just obviously a massive game. But think of that as a big pillar. Think of like 100 line defense, you know, Defense Academy. What the fuck is it? 100? It's the 100 line last Defense Academy, right? I'm pretty sure that is, but I always mix up names or whatever. So yeah, imagine the pillars, because I always think of like big pillars and then small things underneath. You have Xenoblade Chronicles 1 still. You have 100 line Last Defense Academy. You have the Metal Gear series. And then you'll have small stuff around there. I'm hoping this is what gets auto-picked for the thumbnail. As I'm doing like hands right here, that gets auto-picked as the thumbnail. Little peek behind the curtain. For the thumbnails for these, I don't even try. I see what my 3 options are. I pick the one that's most visually visually has the most going on as far as a dumb face or me waving my hands around as I do, and stick with that. That's basically all I have. Like I said, I don't have a ton of more teasers as far as what's going to happen in August, because we just don't have a ton of time, and a lot of August is going to be wrapping up other stuff. But yeah, like I said, 100 line, that's going to be big. Metal Gear Solid series, that's going to be big. We're hitting the stride here of like late summer. We're going to have lots of, I think, interesting things going on the channel. Differing things, but things that people would potentially really latch onto and find interesting. It's a lot. I don't know how to live without burning the candle at both ends, you know? Damn, I got into 17 minutes, almost 18 minutes. I'm going to close the video before it gets to 18 minutes. All right, until next month.